Chloe leading out Chanel. Chanel in the red jacket on the dark coloured Devere. Chloe on the red Specialised. And she's wearing Jayco Nicks. And a red jersey with yellow on it. Oh, sorry, with green on it. I'm not colourblind. Again, that wind has been cruel all day. It's been a consistent, straight southerly with real teeth. Like one of those Arctic winds you get in the middle of winter. We haven't had the hail that was forecast. We haven't had rain. And we'll be lucky, I think, to just get away with it. Peter Coy doing a great job on the barbecue. I think the snagger's nearly ready. Yes? Almost. Getting there. And unfortunately, this cold wind is blowing the heat off the barbecue, so they're taking a while to cook. But they are cooking. Lap and a half now, the distance to go. Chanel starts to lift the pace up a little bit around the outside of Chloe. She makes a move around the outside. Chloe having to respond. It's going to be a long sprint. They've gone from about 400 metres out. Chloe drops up into Chanel's slipstream. Chasing hard, trying to remember to keep her head up. Chloe chasing Chanel. Chloe with the benefit of a slightly bigger gear. Chanel with a fair bit more experience. And as they come up the back straight into the wind, Chloe now just starting to bring that gap down a little bit on Chanel. She's coming up onto the back straight. Can she make a pass as she comes out of the bend? She steps out to make the move, but I think Chanel might just be able to hold it off. It's going to be pretty close, but Chanel takes that one. Michelle. Live now. Sam on the green Devere with the white jersey. Michelle just rolling up around onto Sam's hip as they come around through turn 1 into turn 2. Thank you again to Jody doing the videography. And Michelle makes a move around the outside of Sam. Sam's been pretty quick today. He's been hard to beat. Michelle now leading him out. Sam with a good sit on her wheel. If he can be patient and wait, we'll see if he can do it. He's got a good sit as they get the bell. Michelle's gone a long way. Sam looks pretty comfortable at the moment. The challenge is for the guys on the little gears if they can actually make an overtaking move. He's pretty close to her wheel, so he's not going to get to use her speed to come past her, but he can use her speed to sit on her wheel. He's going to need to kick if he wants to get around. Michelle backing off a little bit. Sam's going to need to make a move now if he wants it to happen. Tries to make a step around the outside. He may have left it a little bit too late. It's going to be very, very close, but Michelle takes provincial Victoria. Not quite the Riviera. And it's Tilly now leading out Ben. A little drop in the wind. So we stop shivering quite so much in the middle. Pretty cold for given what we had yesterday. But that's Melbourne in spring. It can do anything. And the same thing can happen in the sprint. Anything can happen. We need our B graders lined up and ready. 2 of them are. Where are the rest of them? As Tilly now makes that move again from a lap and a half out. Ben now having to respond and chase. Tilly's done that 3 times now. It's becoming a bit of a trademark. But she's made a move and she's gapped Ben off by a good 10 metres or so. Can she hold him off? Ben now starting to wind up. Looks like he's on a slightly bigger gear. Grits his teeth, does the chase. This is first place in C grade. No, I tell a lie, it's for 3rd place in C grade. Ben chasing hard, but Tilly looks like she might hold him off if she doesn't hit the brick wall as she comes around the bend. Ben now coming with a late surge at Tilly's wheel, but it looks to me as though Tilly's going to hold Ben off. And Tilly and Paul in the blue and black. So we've got football team allegiances, if you like. Paul ducking, diving a little bit underneath Britt. She's trying to keep an eye on him. Just trying to keep her guessing as to where he is. Britt, a pure sprinter. Again, she is just back from a couple of weeks ago riding the first round of the National Junior Track Series up in Sydney, where she cleaned up and won every sprint. And she won the Kieran, she won everything there was to win that she entered. Of course, that's against under 17s. Paul's no under 17. He's not on restricted gearing. She's not allowed to ride bigger than 90. I don't know what she's on at the moment. I certainly don't know what Paul's on. Paul makes a little bit of a feint underneath. Britt shuts the door. Paul now has to go around the outside. Britt responds. She's done this a few times today where she's waited and tempted the rider in front to get some distance. Now Britt with a bit of racing distance to run at Paul's back wheel. And she runs out the slipstream. Paul jumps out of the wheel jumps out of the saddle for a second kick. Coming into turn 3. Britt caught on the hip of Paul. Is she going to have the legs to get around him? This is going to be pretty close to the line, Paul. just manages to stay in the lane, a bit of a wobble, but Paul Yeatman takes that crowding, legally, of course, and he's bearing down now a little bit on Sam Hughes, trying to force him, hold his position. We don't often see this level of contact at this level of the sport, and they are side by side coming out of turn 2 with a lap and a bit to go, or a lap and a half. Sam breaks up, gives himself some height. Of course, Sam. They're both Sam. McCabe breaks up, Hughes leads it out. I'll try not to confuse you all by saying Sam did this, Sam did that, because that won't help anyone. As McCabe starts to pick the pace up a little bit, and Hughes maintains his lead. It's a big door there open if McCabe wants to duck underneath, if he wants to take it. Sam possibly tempting him to do so, and McCabe jumps. Hughes now having to chase. Down into the sprinters lane with a lap to go. That's 307 metres. It's a long sprint, especially as you come around the corner into the headwind. And that's a pretty decent wind at the moment, looking at the windsock. He's still not quite able to hold the line out of the bend terribly well, but now he's got a good run at McCabe's wheel as he comes up into turn 3. Steps out to make the pass. McCabe is neat and tidy through the bend and holds it nicely in. Hughes ran a little bit wide, and that's his wearing. He wore in the very first round way back here in 2006. Apparently they're quite warm. Anyway, that's the trivia for the day. Sun's out, a little bit of a lull in the wind. Oh, it's a beautiful day for bike race. And we have one underway right now. As Hasselhoff pushing Dino up. Giving him plenty of room. Dino with a lot of room to go around the outside if he wants. No Sam McCabe push and shove here. Not that either rider is adverse to that. Both of them quite capable of playing that game, but electing not to at this time. David Hasselhoff just keeping Dino on the hip as he comes around, lap and a half to go.
No, that was really
up the bend now, Dino just trying to vary the pace a little, and you can see Dino just putting a little bit of extra movement there, forcing Hasselhoff to respond and raise the pace a little bit. And the pace comes up through the bend. Dino makes the move out of 4, and Hasselhoff throws a little baby hook. Not enough to be dangerous. The pace still not really on, neither rider fully committed. Hasselhoff still not down in the lane. Dino drops into it. Hasselhoff now committed to the sprint. Dino's going to have to run at his back wheel. He's pretty close. Hasselhoff out of the saddle trying to second kick it. Dino trying to come around the outside. Hasselhoff with a little bit more speed coming out of turn 4. And Dino's going to get pretty close, but Hasselhoff by a bike. This could be a very good matchup indeed. In qualifying, not much between the two of them. Connor rode 12.9, David 12.7, so 0.2 between the two. But again, with what the wind was doing this morning, that's a pretty poor predictor of any sort of performance. Connor giving himself plenty of room, and that's a really nice piece of race separation that he's giving himself from David. You wouldn't want to give him too much more, but that's really good distance, giving himself plenty of opportunity to move around and not allowing David to control him. A lap and a half now to go. David again content to roll a nice slow tempo, perhaps relying on the jump. Connor, a very explosive young man. David's a first year under 19 and Connor's a second year under 17, so only a year between these two. Slightly in David Crocknight's favour. Connor now with the advantage of the run off the bank. David a little bit of a sitting duck, but Connor choosing not to use the roll off the bank to make the move. And this time Connor going up the hill. David waiting patiently. Connor makes a move. David responds very quickly. And it's on down the back straight. David with a big acceleration. Connor running at his back wheel as they come round through 3 side by side. Connor with a little bit more speed there than David as he comes around through the bend. It's going to all come down to the final dash to the line. David through the inside, but Connor takes that one well indeed. And hostilities commence as they cross the start line. 614 metres the distance in total. Luke just rolling a little bit ahead now of Ben. Ben content to let him do it. And Luke will have a little bit of a roll off the bank here as they come around through the corner bend. Just trying to stay out of the saddle and make sure that he can't get caught unawares. Luke's jumped very well with a lot of authority today. Again, Ben in a little bit of a vulnerable position as he's half wheeling underneath Luke through the back straight. Now he puts himself in a position where he can defend the line into the lane. And Luke again, just putting that pressure on the outside and just forcing Ben to constantly be a little bit uneasy and leans down on him a little bit. Luke leans on Ben, pushes him down. Ben makes a move, jumps down into the lane, full gas sets on. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be a ding-dong battle with a lap to go. Luke with a bit of height, giving himself plenty of room to run at Ben's wheel, and now he drops down into the slipstream down the back straight. Ben second kicks down the back straight. Luke hits the back wheel and comes around the outside, coming into 3. And they're coming through, and Luke at the moment trying as best he can to try and get around that Ben, but Ben holding Luke off. Ben with too much speed. Slipstream and come round.